What's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we're going to be taking a peek over here at the Bitcoin price chart as the big moment of truth is arriving here on Bitcoin to see if Bitcoin is going to behave as it has behaved in past cycles and if we're getting ready for some type of breakout or if things are going to deviate and price is going to change. So in this video, we're going to talk about past recoveries happening over here on Bitcoin. You guys have undoubtedly seen this stuff before, but the big thing going on in here is that we are now very, very close to that moment in time in 2016 where we finally left this range after being stuck in it for a little bit over 200 days, just as we have currently right now. So time is one of the hardest things to predict, if not nearly impossible. We can all mark significant price levels, but timing is ultimately the million-dollar question that everybody does have. And really the way to look at time is to see how have we behaved and how have we behaved in relation to the past. And so today we'll kind of dive deep into here to show all these little levels on how we have behaved. But this does also require the acknowledgement that price behavior currently, as I have over here on the right side of the screen, is mimicking much closer to that of 2015 and 16 as overlaid here, rather than 2019 and 20, where we did a full-blown retracement happening for Bitcoin, which equivalent pricing would be as if we've already gone to over $50,000. As we know, we've struggled to even get above 30, bouncing back and forth over the 236 Fibonacci retracement as we did back there in 2015 and 16. And I've shown this many times on different altcoins, but like even with Litecoin, for example, if we were to look at that 2018 through 2020 bear market for Litecoin, we would already be so deep into this that C19 would have already passed us by. So when referencing here to 2019 to 2020, we do definitely get an entirely different picture from the altcoin market. That one, either it's way beyond, this phase over here, or two, something else is at play. And not that we're repeating this merely because we already know we haven't done a full retracement in here like we did in 2019. And these altcoins aren't acting like being at the peaks of 2019 with how long this has been going on for already. But there's definitely been some very interesting price behavior about Bitcoin currently right now. And what's been so incredibly amazing about price behavior has just been how mirrored it's been from that time period of 2015 and 16. The hardest thing to comprehend for most people is really just the topping structure that happened in here and just the reality of when we go back and look at all the data to see that the peak of the market was actually there on April 14th, the day that Coinbase IPO'd, right at the pico top of the actual market. We can see these things too when we really flip ourselves over to the monthly time frame and look at just these indicators in relation to the last bull and bear for Bitcoin, whether we're looking at the relative strength index to see that it topped back over here, whether we're looking at the stochastic RSI to see that it peaked and fell off here from April, or if we're looking down here at the MACD to see, you can see right there, it's our last big dark green bar happening right there in April as it then loses its strength, and there we go. But you can also see that when we compare ourselves over here to 2017 and 18. RSI falls off here on the monthly time frame at the pico top, as we do over here in April of 2021. The stochastic RSI falls off here from the top of 2017 and 18 as we fall off here in April of 2021. And like mentioned, right here on this MACD, you can see there's your last big green bar there, right there at the pico top of the market, as we see happening over here in April of 2021. Then price structure looks a little bit different, but the timing of it is incredibly insane. As we were going through all of this down in here, we pointed many times back to these phases of Bitcoin from 2018 and back in here in 2014 to show it was mirroring the same behavior during this fall. While everybody was screaming for 12K, we had shown, well, that's not the case if we look at how deep this has actually gone, that it's actually gone deep enough. But when we zoom in on this to actually look at the timing of how this has behaved, it's been pretty remarkable as well to see how these bounces show up in here, these valleys show up, then the market rallies at the same time in here to go on and hit its peak up here. Same structure, slowly creaks its way down, breaks, breaks, breaks. And then even look at this, as we have this ABC that happens right here with our ABC from 2014. These even peak right here on the literal same day as we're coming off of the peak happening on the literal same day. Price crumbles. Then in 2015, price gets stuck in this range the whole time, all throughout here. And then you'll notice that it finally leaves that range right there. That little bump out finally leaves the peak at the top of the range right here. Now we head over here to 2022 and 2023. Here we are stuck in our range. And finally we go on and we hit the peak of our range right here at the same time, following up with on the exact same day, we leave the range. You see that happening here in 2015. Then you see that happening here in 2023. That range gets left, and now we have escaped it. And that happened both times. So here we are, peaking, bouncing, valley, hits the tops, ABCs. ABCs peak on the exact same day, capitulation, same distance, then leaves the range that it consolidated in for the majority of the year at the same time. Then consolidates flat for over 200 days in here, as we did here in 2015-16. But what's remarkable is if this is going to continue, which I don't know if it's going to, but you see the same things that I see in here. You see the price behavior of it all happening. We're at that moment that tomorrow we're going to finally hit that day of where Bitcoin actually ended up leaving that range. So it was on that day, number 208, of being stuck in a sideways range that Bitcoin went ahead and left. And that's that day for us tomorrow on October 11th. So now we'll find out, will we continue following this time frame from 2015 and 2016? Because unquestionably, we're not following 2019 through 2020. Price levels and timing are both vastly different from 2019 and 2020. And our altcoin market varies from 2020, that even if we wanted to say that this is 2019 through 2020, you can clearly see we would have already bypassed C19. And this exists all over the place, whether we're looking at Litecoin, Dogecoin, right in here, same story. Past C19, even XRP may not believe it, but you're actually way past C19 over here, that it would have occurred back here, back in July. So will it continue following its same 2015 to 2016 timeline? It has been remarkably to the day. And I think that's the thing that's interesting about it. If we were sitting here saying, hey, it's a variance of within like 2 weeks or something like that, would there really be the justification for making a video dedicated specifically to it? I don't know. But what we do see is that these markers are here really on the day of when these particular price levels end up happening in here, and when these particular breakouts happen in here, and how long these ranges last for. And what it would say is if this thing continues, which it has done and followed for over 900 days, with on very specific days, like day number 349 hits the peak of the C, and day number 698, it leaves the top of the range, right? There you are. If that thing did continue, tomorrow would be the day that this thing would have its confluence to continue. We'll see if it ends up doing it, but it's unquestionably an interesting phenomenon happening there for Bitcoin that has lasted over 900 days, which is almost 2.5 years, that on very particular days, things have been happening with the price action in here for ranges to get left right on cue and peaks to be happening right here, right on cue. So keep your eyes out, keep your eyes alert. The very clear and obvious thing from here that would be a deviation from price behavior would be if price broke below 24,700. That would be a deviation. So fingers crossed the excitement begins soon, and if the magic of Bitcoin lives on. Because while many people are hoping to see that Bitcoin does crash and does do a C19 style behavior where it goes to 20K or 16K or 12K, we know very well the structure is not the same. And if price did do something like that, it really does open up that can of worms that Bitcoin is doing something very similar to what we saw happen to Ethereum back in 2018. That by the time price got back down here, after doing a long consolidation of a crash, retrace, reaccumulation 4.236 extension, that when it bounced down in here below its previous all-time high, this rally was short-lived and then eventually just kept crumbling and crumbling and crumbling until it took out those lows. And for Bitcoin, if it did something like that, I mean, you're looking over here in the 2000s for Bitcoin. And we opened up the can of worms of that possibility happening the second we start taking out previous support levels and turning them into resistances in here. And currently right now, it's not. It's just been ranging in here as it did in 2015 and 16. But to take out those lows really opens up the concern of something like this is happening for Bitcoin, especially with the big macro backdrop that you have going on out there. So if things deviate, if things start breaking lower, well, hey, guess what? We've now finally stopped doing this thing after 910 days. But as of right now, it's still right on track. And so we'll find out hopefully in the next couple of days if we're going to continue to do that. But I think I've done a pretty thorough job of trying to present this argument of why we're not in 2019, we're not in 2020. And the altcoins are showing you that everywhere we look with how long these things have been going on. And that even if you were going to say it's 2019 and 2020, you're already past C19. But Bitcoin's price structure does not mimic that of 2019. And it does mimic that of 2015 and 16 as of right now. If you lost those lows, like a lot of people are cheering for, I don't think they see this picture. But as of right now, that's not the case. And I don't think enough people see the picture in this manner that we have it right here and how it's been behaved. If it deviates, we can clearly say, hey, look, we know this. It peaked on the same day. It broke up on the same day, made the topping structure at the same time, peaked on its C wave on the same day, broke from the range on the same day, consolidated into range the same amount of time, and then it should have broken to the upside, but it broke to the downside. That's not good, right? Something's changed, right? But we have something pretty clear. I mean, this is a pretty amazing blueprint to be able to look at. And the blueprint of 2019 and 2020 is just no way the same thing. But 2015 and 2016 is quite amazing. So hopefully in the next couple of days, we get our answer to come out of here in Bitcoin. And hopefully it's the continuation of what we have been doing for over 900 days. So on that note, we'll go ahead and start wrapping this thing up and keep your eyes peeled to see if the continuation continues. But all right, guys, that's going to be it for this one. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Of course, you could check out my website over here, which is bcbacker.com. There's over 40 videos that I've recorded over here with over 11 hours of content, deep diving into TradingView and CoinTrader Pro, teaching you about indicators and patterns, Wyckoff method, Elliott wave theory, and the historical behavior of the cryptocurrency market. A lot of other stuff in there that just comes from experience of being in the market with research data, tokenomics, crowd behavior, meme coins, and of course, the most important, emotional management. Go through a lot of the historical behavior of Bitcoin throughout here and the altcoin market to give a better representation of how this market has acted before. And you could check all of this out over here on bcbacker.com. Otherwise, guys, I want to wish you a wonderful day. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.